Hi, this is Richard C. I'm a math tutor here at Wyzant, answering a question submitted by a student. This is coming from Algebra 2, something called rational expressions. And a rational expression is let me just anchor this 1 second. Okay. So the rational expression it can be written as the ratio of two polynomials, p of x over q of x, and then there are different ways of figuring out how to graph this. And so typically the objective is to graph it, and in order to graph it, it's useful to know about vertical asymptotes and horizontal asymptotes. So the vertical asymptote, you get that by setting the denominator to 0. The horizontal asymptote is a little more involved. It has to do with the degree of P and the degree of Q. So if the degree of P of x, and we'll look at the degree of Q of x, setting up a little table here just so that you know, just so you get some. So if the degree of P is bigger than the degree of Q, then there is no horizontal asymptote. If the degree of P is equal to the degree of Q, the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to the ratio of leading coefficients and if P is less than Q, the degree of P is less than the degree of Q, the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Okay, so you really need to know all these things in order to do the problem, and once we've got that figured out, doing the problem is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to switch to another color. So we're interested in an f of x here, which is equal to a over x minus h plus k. And we're going to start with the vertical asymptote. So the vertical asymptote is 7. This would be x equals 7. So that means 7 minus h has to be 0, right? The vertical asymptote occurs when the denominator is 0. So that's 7 equals h. And so now we can write f of x is equal to a over x minus 7 plus k. Okay, so that's the vertical asymptote. To get the horizontal asymptote, we have to write it. We have to write the expression this way and combine them. So you can see this is just a common denominator issue. So hopefully you can see that step without much trouble. I'm just multiplying k by x minus 7 over x minus 7 and then adding them. So this is going to give us kx minus 7k plus a all over x minus 7. Okay, now for the horizontal asymptote, we're told it has to be -2. You can see that this is a first degree polynomial. It's linear. That's the slope is k, and the y-intercept would be -7a plus -7k, sorry, 7k plus a. So the slope would be k, the y-intercept would be -7k plus a. And here you can see this is linear also. The slope is 1 here. Y-intercept is -1. So we have the same degree, you see. So we're in this situation. The degree of the numerator is 1 and the degree of the denominator is 1. So that just tells us that the horizontal asymptote is the ratio of the leading coefficients, which would be k over 1. And we want that to be -2. So that tells us that k itself is -2. And now we can pop that right into this one up here. So I'm going to rewrite f of x equals a over x minus 7 minus 2. And that will give us a rational expression where the vertical asymptote is at 7 and the horizontal asymptote is y equals -2. Okay, hopefully that was helpful to you. It's really not that hard. You're just gonna, you really should be doing a couple dozen of these before you get the hang of it. You're gonna learn horizontal asymptote, vertical asymptote, x-intercept, y-intercept, and there could be depending on what level of algebra 2 you're in, you might be learning about something called a slant asymptote. So there's a lot to learn here. But it's very, very useful because using these tools, you can make a nice sketch of the function without having to plug in x and y values or use your calculator. Okay, so I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.